Good evening. Today I would like to talk to you about the Ohio Grassman. Ohio, probably for the Midwestern United States headed towards the east, has more reports of Bigfoot than just about any other state. Now, when I was asked by somebody online about what I thought about the Grassman and what it was, I initially just thought, well, it's an initial Bigfoot, just from what I've heard, probably what we call like a type 1 or a patty, or maybe some type 2, some wood boogers, maybe like intermixed in there, being kind of very central. But as I looked into it, Ohio has everything. It's really, when you say Ohio Grassman, there are several things going on here. The first and most obvious one to me is a lot of people are seeing what you would typically think of Bigfoot: 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 feet tall, bipedal ape with a big broad shoulders and a big barrel chest with a conical head, very strong. Ohio gets very cold, so I think these creatures, they don't look like they would, but I guess they do very well. The other thing that is really interesting is that there's a lot of Bigfoot researchers in Ohio. There's all sorts of groups there. Um, the other thing a lot of people see in Ohio are the reported Dogman and its derivatives. So, being kind of very central towards the east, I think you would probably get most of the types of Bigfoots. You get type 1s, the big patties. You probably get some type 2s, some wood boogers going up the Appalachian Trail and then on west over to Ohio. You probably get some of the type 4s, some of the more human looking type Bigfoot, the relic hominid type species I did a video on. You probably also get type 3s, the Gugwees, which are the ones with the protruding snout that look like a big monster baboon. And from what I've heard, there's also reports of mountain giants in some of the very rural back areas. As Cat Hansen would say, they're kind of like the district managers. Ohio's really kind of got it all. And like I said, I think you also do encounter the Dogman. There's a lot of reports there of the upright walking canine species. Like I said, this is different than the type 3, the Gugwee style Bigfoot that looks more like a baboon. This is more like a straight up walking dog. And there's many, many reports of these things. Ohio seems to be pretty awesome as far as cryptid activity. There's even something called in Loveland, Ohio, the Loveland frog, some kind of a 4 foot tall frog looking creature. That's been reported there for many years. So it's really pretty interesting. It's almost like there's a portal to another dimension all through Ohio that's letting these things in and out. Now, I'm not saying that's what I believe is going on, but it's good explanation for any why people see Dogman, different variations of Bigfoot. And also another type of Ohio Grassman is something that's been reported to me and I've seen talked about in videos, is something a little more human-like but with darker skin that looks more like a feral human or some kind of like a hairy pre-man, almost kind of like a Neanderthal man running around. If you've ever seen the footage of something digging in the graveyard, that's supposed to be reported like an Ohio Grassman. It's very interesting. But on top of that, you also have all the normal Bigfoot stuff. You know, you have the famous Ohio howls, that long, really long, makes the hair stand up on your neck howl in Ohio. You've got all the typical stuff, like lots of tracks being found and deer with their heads being popped off and domestic animals being taken. The other thing you're also going to find is you're also going to find lots of mounds and little shelters. Like I said, when you say Grassman, there's quite a bit going on. And so I think there's a lot of different creatures going on. For me, other than probably East Texas and the Pacific Northwest and the Sierras where I'm from, this is kind of the big hot spot, I think. I mean, these things are all over the place. Everybody knows from Florida all the way up to Maine, these things are being spotted. But Ohio seems to be a particular hot spot for these creatures of all shapes and sizes. So when you say Ohio Grassman, it's kind of like where you're referring to just the standard Bigfoots and the other undiscovered primate-like species, not necessarily they're primates or humans. One of the really famous ones is the Minerva monster, where they actually had this is a documentary I watched by Small Town Monsters. I got it on DVD, and it is excellent. They actually have the police officer who responded to everything at the time comes on there. They have interviews with the family, and what they describe as a very patty-like a large Bigfoot. Now, it used to come around, and to them, it was no big deal. It was just another animal in the woods. It's very fascinating. If you can watch the documentary or read about the story, the Minerva monster is awesome. I highly recommend it. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's episode. So when someone talks about the Grassman, just ask them what exactly are they talking about, because there's so much going on in Ohio. Please like this video. Please give it the thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please ring that bell so you get notifications. The thumbs up and subscribing really helps me out. I'll see y'all later. Have a good New Year.